Hello everyone, I'm Anas Al-Ubaidi, and the topic or the title of this lecture or session is crisis management in clinical research, as it is part of the ensuring of the as it is part of the chapter that is about ensuring participant safety and ethical integrity. And of course, this lecture or session is part of the Advanced ICH Good Clinical Practice Certification course program by CCRPS. Introduction. Crisis management in clinical research refers to the effective and timely handling of unexpected situations that can significantly impact the safety of participants, the integrity of the study, or the credibility of the research team. A crisis can arise from various issues, such as participant safety concerns, regulatory violations, data integrity issues, or natural disasters. Having a solid crisis management plan is crucial for minimizing damage and ensuring that trials remain compliant with good clinical practice, GCP, and regulatory requirements. Key points. We'll start with the types of crisis in clinical research. Participant safety crisis, any event that poses a direct threat to the health or safety of a clinical trial participant or subject. Example, a participant experiences a severe allergic reaction to the study medication, SM, or IP investigational product. Regulatory crisis, situations where the trial is found to be non-compliant with regulatory requirements or guidelines. Example, failure to report a serious adverse event SAE within the required time frame. Data integrity crisis, instances where there is a breach in the accuracy or reliability of the data being collected. Example, discovery of falsified data or significant discrepancies in clinical trial records. Natural or environmental crisis caused by external factors like natural disasters, pandemics, or political unrest that impact the conduct of clinical trials. Example, a hurricane destroys trial sites, disrupting participant recruitment and data collection. And here is a diagram on crisis in clinical research. Another key point here, components of crisis management in clinical research. Prevention here, risk identification, identifying potential risks early through continuous monitoring and analysis. Example, routine monitoring of IP investigational product reactions and reporting any potential adverse trends. Crisis response plan, developing a plan that outlines the steps to address different types of crisis. Example, a detailed action plan for handling adverse events, AEs, or unforeseen regulatory audits. And here is a diagram on achieving effective crisis management. Response, immediate action, addressing the crisis quickly and decisively to prevent further damage. Example, if a participant has a severe allergic reaction, immediate medical intervention is required. Communication, clear and timely communication with regulatory bodies, ethics committees, or independent ethics committees, IECs, sponsors, and trial participants. And ethics committees, of course, could be, again, IECs, independent ethics committees, or institutional review boards, IRBs, the same. Example, notifying the ethics committee and regulatory authorities immediately after discovering a participant's SAE, a serious adverse event. Collaboration, involvement of all stakeholders to ensure that the issue is resolved efficiently. Example, a sponsor, CRO, which is short with contract research organization, and investigator team working together to manage a data breach. Recovery. Impact assessment, evaluating the damage caused by the crisis, including the impact on the study's timeline, data integrity, and participant safety. Example, after a data breach, assessing the extent of the impact on the trial's results. Corrective actions, implementing corrective actions to prevent future crises. Example, after discovering a non-compliance issue, strengthening participant monitoring and training of the clinical team. documentation, crisis documentation, thorough documentation of the crisis, actions taken, and lessons learned. Example, a detailed report on how the crisis was handled, which can be used for audits and regulatory review. Crisis management plans in clinical research. Crisis management plan development. The crisis management plan should be part of the trial's risk management strategy and should outline procedures for managing a variety of potential crises such as serious adverse events, SAEs, data breaches, and site closures. Key elements, clear roles and responsibilities, procedures for immediate actions, for example, reporting SAEs, serious adverse events, halting recruitment, communication protocols with stakeholders, contingency plans for disruptions. Example, a plan to address protocol deviations or a major safety concern that would involve pausing the trial until resolved. Regular training and drills, conducting regular crisis management training for the research team to ensure familiarity with the plan and prompt action when required. Example, organizing a drill for how to handle an emergency evacuation at a trial site. And here is a diagram on crisis management in clinical trials, showing here a nice, good summary. Another key point, role of stakeholders in crisis management. Principal investigator, PI. The PI plays a critical role in managing crises, especially those related to participant safety and data integrity. Example, in the case of an SAE, serious adverse event, the PI, principal investigator, must assess the situation, report it to authorities, and manage participant care. Sponsor. The sponsor is responsible for ensuring that the crisis management plan is in place and that necessary resources are available. Example, the sponsor may be responsible for notifying regulatory bodies and coordinating with contract research organizations to mitigate or manage the impact of a crisis. Clinical Research Coordinator, CRC. The CRC often handles the day-to-day tasks of managing crises, such as reporting AE adverse events, ensuring participant safety, and maintaining documentation. Example, the CRC reports a serious adverse event to the sponsor and regulatory authorities. Ethics committees and regulatory bodies. Ethics committees and regulatory bodies must be involved immediately when a crisis compromises participant or subject safety or data integrity. Example, a regulatory body may require an audit after a severe breach of trial protocol. Another key point here, crisis management best practices, proactive risk management. Identify risks early and develop mitigation or management strategies. Example, regular audits to detect potential protocol violations before they escalate into a crisis. Clear communication, ensure that communication channels are open and efficient for all involved parties. Example, during an emergency evacuation, ensuring that all team members and participants receive real-time updates. Decisive action, taking immediate informed action to address the crisis. Example, halting the study immediately after discovering a severe adverse event related to the IP or SM, investigational drug, investigational product, or study drug or study medication, as all the same but with different terminologies. Transparency and accountability, being transparent about the crisis and the actions taken. Example, sharing the outcome of a crisis with stakeholders and making the necessary corrective actions known. Summary tables. As here we have table on types of crisis, table on crisis management plan elements, table on stakeholder roles in crisis management, table on crisis management best practices, table on crisis management challenges, and then MCQs, multiple choice questions. Through these MCQs or multiple choice questions, we will be revising what we have covered via or through this lecture. Question 1, what is the first step in crisis management for clinical research? Would be B, the best answer, identifying the risks early. As identifying risks early through monitoring and planning helps in taking preventive measures before a crisis arises. Question 2, which of the following is a key component of a crisis management plan in clinical research? Well, the most appropriate answer would be risk identification, identifying the risk A, as a well-prepared crisis management plan begins with identifying potential risks and planning mitigations. Question 3, what is the role of the CRC clinical research coordinator during a crisis? B is the most appropriate answer, reporting adverse events and maintaining documentation, as the CRC is primarily responsible for handling day-to-day reporting and documentation during a crisis. Question 4, which of the following best describes data integrity crisis? Um, well, B is the most appropriate answer: inaccuracies, discrepancies in trial records, or falsified data, as data integrity crises occur when there are discrepancies or inaccuracies or falsifications in the clinical trial data. Question 5, why is immediate communication important in crisis management? B is the most appropriate answer within the four choices, as to ensure regulatory authorities are informed, as timely communication ensures that all necessary stakeholders are notified and regulatory authorities can respond appropriately. And here we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you very much and goodbye.